Hello guys, in this video we will talk about data types. Now, as you can see, what are data types? As you can see by the name, the type of data. Data types means the data we have a data, right? We have a number, we have a text. We have some data, but there should be some type of the data. So that is called data types. So here we have four basic data types in Kotlin. One is integer, one is floating point, one is Boolean, and another one is character. So what is integer data type? First, the integer data type can only contain a number. So integer data types are numerical data types. So as you can see here that there are four types of integer data types too. Byte, short, int, and long. So these can only contain numbers, and that too integer numbers. So as you can see here, where a, that is integer data type, which is 23. Now where a, which is 0.23, as 0.23 is not an integer, it can't save the data of 0.23 in the variable. Now we can only save 23 as an integer data type. Now there are four different types of integer data types. There is byte, short, int, and long. So these differ due to the size of it. Okay, so byte can only store minus from the minimum value is minus 128 to plus 127. Short has 32,768 minus 32,768 to 32,767. So these are the range of the of how much long the number can be stored, or how much digits the number can be stored. So this is the value. So basically we use int as normal data type. Maximum we use int, or in some cases we use long. Byte and short are rarely used or none, but int and long are used. The most one is int, like 98% time, and 2% time may be long. So this was all about integer data types. The next one is floating data type. So what is floating point data type? As we can't store the value of the point variables like 22.3, 22.4, we can't store this value in the integer data types. So we need some other data type to store it. So there are two data types for this. One is float and another one is double. So the difference also, as you can see, float has a small minimum value and maximum value, and double has a long range. So this is the basic difference between the float and double. And float can only store fractional value, decimal value, fractional value or decimal value it is used to store. So now you can understand, what do you think that does float can store the number 23? Yes, it can store the number 23. Float or double can store 23.5 and 23 both. Why? Because it will store the number of 23 as 23.0. So as we know that every integer, normal integer or whole number, comes under the decimal numbers. So this is the hierarchy of it. Now we can use floating point numbers to store both integer and the floating point or decimal value numbers. Now the third one is Boolean data type. So but Boolean, if you have worked on Java before, there is the same Boolean data type is there. So Boolean data type contains two values, only two values. Either it is true or it is false. So it is used mostly in like only like true and false cases. If this is true, then do this. If it is false, like that. So the variable can only store the value true or false, just that. So the Boolean data type represent true and false. Okay. Now the last one is character data type. So what is a character data type? It can store characters like A, B, C, any character, or some digits or any symbol, but only one character. So character data types can store only one character, like text. So like your name, it can't store your name right there, but it can store maybe your first letter of the name, only single letter, or any digit. So it can, as you can see, it can store letters from A to Z, capital letters, then digits and some other symbols. So only a character can be stored in the character data types. Now let's see these all in practical in IntelliJ IDE. So open your IntelliJ IDE and let's create another program or another file, Kotlin file, new Kotlin file as data types. Now let's create a data types, and again we will write the fun main function, fun main, then brackets, and then inside the brackets we will start writing the data types. Now let's use the data, we'll use the var keyword to create the variable. Now how do you define, how do you give a data type to a variable? Now you may write the name of the variable as I am writing here, age. Now give a colon and then we write the whatever data type we want. So there you can see int is there, any data type, like if you want to write float, float is there. If you want to write like char is there. So any data type you can write in this way. So basically first we will use the integer data type. Now what happens, so here you can there is a way. So now only, so you gave a data type to this variable. Now if you want to store something else than integer, you can't. Now if you want to store like age equals to, if you want to store a name in it, no, see this is giving an error right here because it is telling us that it is required int but found a string, so it can't take. Now you have only, you can only give a number here. So if you give a number and then if you print the variable like we do, println, and let's print the variable age. Now if you run this program and see what's the output, you can see the age is printed there as we know as the variable data types. So we print, we did know about the variable, so it will print the value which is stored in the variable. Now if I want to give here 52.7, so here it is giving an error. Why? Because floating point can't be stored in an integer data type. So we can't store this value inside the integer value. Okay, so this one is integer. So let me name, see here 52 is stored, but this one will give an error because it is the floating point and decimal. So it will give us an error. Now we'll just write the name and I'll show you every data type here, like integer. I'll just copy this and I'll just copy this and paste it here. 3 to 4 types. I'll show you integer, then let's show you float, then let's give a name float, then let's do char, give it char, let's do boolean, let's give it boolean, then let's do long and give it long. Now see, these are the data types I have created. These are the variables and the data types of the variables. Now I can print any data type. I can just provide the value. So I am giving integer equals to 3, then float 1 equals to 4.5 or 4.6, whatever you want. So before writing only so for float you have to write 4.6f to define that it is a floating point. And there is one thing, double. So if I change it to double and if I change it here to double, Okay, I'll just make another one, var double. So what I am doing here is we will give a value to float, then we'll give a value to double equals to 6.5. so here see, you don't have to give the F symbol, so this is the difference you can see. And let's take a char. The char, you can give a value like A, B, but S like this, you have to give it in a single inverted comma, single inverted comma, so that this is a character. Now we can give Boolean. So see, if I write the Boolean keyword, if I write the keyword Boolean, then it is automatically giving us, it will automatically give the two values. Either we can have false as a value or true as a value. So if I give false or if I give true, it can take only these values. If I want to give some another value, 5 to 5 or 6 or something, any value, it will not take. It can take only true or false. Now long, it can also take number, but you can give a very long number, whatever you want. See, okay, this won't take that much long number, I think. So long has a range that you have to give that long in the range. Okay, so this was all about data types. Now you can just print it, anything. You can see the print the integer or float or double. You will get these values when you print it. So do it yourself while printing, and you can check out some more. I'll give the PowerPoint link in description so that you can download it and check all the data types and all, so you can see. Now another thing I want to tell you in this video is, while you give the name, when we give the name of the variable, so what is the naming convention? There is some naming conventions in Kotlin or in writing any kind of code, any language. There are some naming conventions. First one is, whenever you write a variable name, you start with a small letter. Okay, that is the first thing. And if you have any name like 2 or 3 variables, like if you have where you want to write my name, okay, so what do? You won't write like this. So this is not the way. Okay, it will work, right? If I write my name equals to and I give something else, so anything, so here you can write this name because it starts with small letter, but the convention is, it's better to give the name like this. So you will start the variable name with a small letter, and then for every word you will write the capital letter and then continue like that. So this one is called camel casing. This is called lowercase camel casing. So writing variable names is usually written in lowercase camel casing. So why I'm telling this to you is that because you need to, as a programmer, you need to write all the variables name in the conventional way, so that any other program comes to any other programmer sees your program, it will, first of all, it will look good, and they will understand that yeah, you have some programming knowledge, and then they will understand that yes, it is a variable. By the naming I can see that yes, it is a variable. So this is the thing to write the program or the variable names in Kotlin. So this was all about this video, and in the next video we'll start with the operators. So thank you for watching this video. Bye.